Hey everyone, how we doing? It's Tregs here from 30 Plus Men's Fitness, and I want to talk for about 10 minutes on this video about the importance, first of all, of steps, and then talk about like how many should you be doing, not me, but you, because I get asked this question a lot, and there's not really one specific answer. It's a very individualized thing. Okay, so first things first, before we even get into how many steps, I want to reiterate the importance of walking, of steps. Okay, now I've been saying this a lot recently. I've been in the fitness industry for over 15 years, and when I got into the fitness industry, if you would have told me to walk anywhere, I would have been, mate, I'm not interested. Walking is boring. I'm only interested in running, or I'm going to drive. I'll run, sprint, or drive. I ain't walking anywhere, mate, okay? But this was before I understood the importance of a little thing called N.E.A.T, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is the calories that you burn on a day-to-day basis just moving, okay? And that includes walking. Now, N.E.A.T some people say is non-planned activity, and if you're going for a walk, quite often that's planned, okay? So there is a little bit of a grey area there, but what I want you to understand is when we talk about steps, N.E.A.T, whatever you want to say, when we talk about this, right, understand that the more movement that you can get, which isn't planned exercise, like you're not going to a gym or you're not going to a boot camp, you're not doing one of my kettlebell sessions, the more you can get in of this low intensity movement, the bigger the contribution to overall daily calorie expenditure for little trauma on the body is what you're going to get. And this is why I'm so evangelical about this. And this is why even like more so now when I work with bigger guys, 40 plus, 50 plus, who like feel their best days are behind them and they're thinking like, I'm not going to go to a gym. I'm not going to be able to do burpees. I'm not going to be able to run. Don't worry. You don't have to. This is the beauty of just doing steps. If I get a guy, and not just this weight, but if I get a guy 20 stone plus and he's saying all those things, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm like, don't worry. We're just going to get you to move more. Understand this. The bigger you are, okay, as a guy or as a female, the more calories you're going to burn at rest. If I can just get a bigger guy walking more, we'll come on to how many steps in a second. If I can get a bigger guy just walking more, they're going to burn more calories. I've said this time and time again. I could have a client whose basal metabolic rate is over 2,000 calories. That's just from existing. That's just the calories they burn with no movement. You add in 10,000 steps a day, and then that client is burning 3,000 calories a day with no hardcore physical activity. I've had clients lose 5-6 stone just walking. And I understand that when people come into my world, they're kind of like, that sounds a little bit too easy. It is. It really is. And it sounds almost too good to be true. So a lot of people go, walking, nah, sod that. I'm just going to go back to, doing that YouTube burpee challenge. And then they quit because they're just beaten up so quick. So I want to repeat this, okay, because it's a 10-minute video. Moving more, doing non-planned activity, think parking as far away as you can at the supermarket and then walking into the supermarket and back out. That's one of my tips. Parking as far away as you can at the school run and then going and get your kids and then taking them. They might not like it, but you get extra steps, okay? Doing the housework, putting the hoover around, mowing the lawn, hanging up washing, okay? Guys, think about all the stuff that you used to like dread. When you understand the importance of N.E.A.T and steps, this gives you a better buy-in, I said this recently. My missus said to me, I need you to go to Costco and Aldi. Years ago, I would have lost my shit and been like, oh gosh. Now I'm like, steps. I'm just like, that's extra steps. That's extra low intensity movement, which is going to contribute to my total daily energy expenditure. Okay. Now, just hear me out here. Okay. I'll give you some little comparisons, right? So a high intensity circuit session, interval session, might burn you 600 to 700 calories through the duration of that session. Could be an hour, right? That's quite a decent return for an hour's exercise. But guess what? If you're a bigger guy, you're not going to be able to do that. Or if you do, you're going to be so beaten up that the next day you're not going to want to move. You're going to ache. And then when it comes to doing it again, you're like, that was tough, right? Now, if I said to you, forget that for now, I just want you to walk X amount of steps every day, and that's going to help you burn 600-700 calories over the course of the day. Okay, so it's a bit, you've got to put this effort in a little bit longer, but you're not going to be beaten up, and you can break it down. Okay, couple of thousand steps in the morning when you take the kids to school, couple of thousand steps at your lunch break, couple of thousand steps when you go to the shops, and you can accumulate them throughout the course of the day. I had a guy recently do one of my 5-day challenges. He said, I got no time to train, Tregs. He said, I'm busy, blah, blah, blah. I don't really like the gym. And we found out, or he told me, that on his lunch break, he would get an hour for lunch. He'd jump in his car, he'd drive to the bakery, get a sandwich, and listen to Talk Sport in his car, scroll on his phone. And what we decided to do was, no. Don't drive to the bakery. Take some lunch in with you, but have your lunch quickly, and then for 45 minutes, every lunchtime, go for a walk. He did that for the first week, dropped a few pounds, water weight. We changed the diet around a bit. He then messaged me at Christmas, said, Tregs, I've sent you some beers. I've lost a stone. And all I've done is I've listened to your nutrition advice. I haven't joined the gym. I've just started to go for a walk at lunchtime, because these things add up. Okay. So he's now doing 45 minutes to an hour every lunchtime, 5 days a week, and keeping more active on the weekends because it counts on the weekend. He lost a stone. I've recently taken on a new client. Very similar. I think I've done 4 in-person sessions with that client. Excuse me. But one thing we did work, this is a female client, was on her steps. She went, excuse me, she went straight to 15,000 steps a day. She was able to execute it because she found ways in her day to get in more steps. And she's over a stone down. She's over a stone down in 4 to 5 weeks. So I only want to make this video 10 minutes because I'm going to do a presentation to my Inner Circle members shortly. But how many steps, excuse me, guys, how many steps should you be doing? Because we hear that 10,000 is the optimum, and we hear that, the more you move, the more calories you're going to burn. But let's just relax for a second, okay? Because everybody has got different commitments throughout the day. Some people are glued to a laptop. They're glued to a desk. Some people get out of bed, drive to work, sit at a laptop all day, drive home and say, I haven't got the time. Well, I'm sorry. I'm here to say you need to find moments in your day to add in some steps. I'm very lucky. I'm on my feet for a living. I will get 15,000 steps a day just through coaching. I'm very lucky. If I've got people with manual jobs, I know that if they're on their feet every day, we're going to tick that box. So how many steps a day should you be doing? You should be doing more than you're currently doing right now. Okay? Understand, you add 1,500 to 2,000 steps to your daily movement and times that by 7 days. That's, let's say you had 2,000 steps a day, 14,000 extra steps per week. You rinse and repeat that for a month, you've done an extra 56,000 steps. If you don't think that's going to contribute to your overall total daily calorie expenditure, I challenge you to go away and try it. Okay? So I often say people fail because they set the bar too high. They set the bar too high, okay? And then they're like, oh, I didn't do my 10,000, 15,000 today. I failed. No, right. Let's set the bar low. So if you're doing 4,000 steps a day, starting from tomorrow for the next 7 days, aim for between 5,000 and 6,000 steps, okay? Find ways to get creative with it. I've already given you some ideas, Park a bit further away at the school run. Park a bit further away at the shop. Put the Hoover around. When you take your kids to football training, don't sit in the car scrolling your phone. Walk around, all right? See if you can add some steps, okay? Then at the end of next week, you can go, right, how did I get on? Shall I stick? Shall I twist? Shall I raise the bar? And then over a period of 4 to 8 to 12 weeks, you fall in love with the process. You realize that actually walking is doing you good physically, it's doing you good mentally, and you gradually start to raise that bar. I had a client I worked with last year who at the start said, Tregs, I can't do more than 4,000 steps a day. That's all I'm doing. I sold him on the importance of steps. Like I've just told you, it's low intensity contribution to your total daily calorie burn without putting trauma on your body. If you're a bigger guy, sure, it's going to hurt a little bit more at first, but you're going to be able to do this, and you're going to be able to get up the next day and do it again, even if you're a bigger guy. So this guy bought into the process. We started off, he was doing like 4,000 steps a day. By the end of the 12 weeks, he was doing 15,000 steps a day, and he dropped a couple of stone, and he'd fallen in love with the process. We actually worked together around about this time, so it's just getting a bit lighter in the evenings, just getting a little bit lighter in the mornings. And so he was able to get up a bit earlier, go for a walk a little bit later, and he fell in love with the process, and he ended up losing the weight. Now, I just want to reiterate, you're not just going to increase your steps and then that's it, everything's fixed. But increasing your steps is one of the main pieces of what I call the low-hanging fruit, because it's easy to pick, that you can plug in right now. No gym membership needed. You don't need to sign up to a boot camp. You don't need to join one of my online programs. You don't need to buy any fancy equipment. You just need a decent pair of footwear, and you need to start to find a way to move more. I don't give a shit what you say about how busy you are. Everybody can find a way to move more. I've got a couple of thousand steps left to do today. I'm not going to go outside now and walk down the lanes because it's dark, but I will walk around the house because I've got a step goal and I want to get to it. And it's easy to execute. And I know that's a contributor to keeping me in the health and fitness that I am. Okay. So if you're currently struggling, you don't want to go to a gym, you don't want to do a boot camp, you're worried you're too heavy, get your trainers on and start with moving more. Get creative with your steps. You can add them up throughout the day. Doesn't need to be 10,000 straight off the bat. As a ballpark, aim to do more than you currently are and raise the bar. How high should you go? In my humble opinion, you don't need to be doing more than 15,000 steps a day unless you have a manual job, which means you get paid for moving. So if you get paid for moving, reframe that. I've had clients say to me before, Tregs, I can't do the workouts because I'm working shifts and I got a manual job. And I'll say, well, how many steps are you doing a day? 20,000. Great. You're getting paid. You're getting paid to move. That's a reframe. Stay on your feet. Get up and down those ladders, whatever it is, warehouse work, manual work, keep on moving. You're getting paid to move, okay? Up your steps. N.E.A.T, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, the calories you burn on a day-to-day basis, just moving more. Let me know if this video helped. And if you need me, you know where to find me. Cheers, guys.